Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Minister of Defence urged International Atomic Energy Agency oversight of Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. President flags Supreme Court overreach, seeks clarity on assent timelines. India plans to study sustainability of human life in space under Bio-E3 policy. DTAB approves subcommittee report suggesting prohibition of 16 FDCs. Samudrayaan mission to be launched by 2026 end, says NIOT. Himalayan Yala glacier declared dead in Langtang, Nepal. In a firm diplomatic move, the Minister of Defence has called for the International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA to take up oversight of Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. Now turning our attention to the IAEA itself. The International Atomic Energy Agency is headquartered in Vienna, Austria. It was established in 1957 as an autonomous international organization within the United Nations. Its motto is Atoms for Peace and Development. Currently, the agency has 180 member countries, with India being one of them. It's worth noting that North Korea joined the IAEA in 1974 but withdrew in 1994. Every year, all member states participate in the General Conference, which takes place in Vienna. The IAEA received global recognition in 2005 when it was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for its efforts in promoting the peaceful use of nuclear energy and enhancing global nuclear safety. While the IAEA is not a member of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons Treaty or NPT, it plays a critical verification role under the treaty. In fact, each non-nuclear weapon state party to the NPT is required to conclude a Comprehensive Safeguards Agreement or CSA with the IAEA to allow the agency to verify compliance with the treaty's obligations. But what is the role of IAEA? The International Atomic Energy Agency plays a crucial role in global nuclear governance. It serves as the global focal point for nuclear cooperation, assisting member states in using nuclear science for peaceful applications. The IAEA also develops and promotes nuclear safety standards to ensure high safety levels are maintained across facilities. Additionally, it is responsible for verification and compliance, ensuring that states adhere to their commitments by using nuclear facilities exclusively for peaceful purposes. That brings us to the NPT itself, the Non-Proliferation Treaty or NPT. It is a binding international treaty that aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology. It came into force in 1970 and was extended indefinitely in 1995. As of now, the treaty has 191 member countries, including all 5 recognized nuclear weapon states: China, France, Russia, the UK, and the US. However, India, Israel, and Pakistan have never joined the NPT, while North Korea withdrew in 2003. Moving on, there are other treaties aimed at preventing nuclear proliferation. First is the Partial Test Ban Treaty of 1963, which bans nuclear weapon tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater. India has signed and ratified this treaty. Next is the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty or CTBT of 1996. This treaty bans all nuclear explosions, whether for military or peaceful purposes. However, India has not signed it. Lastly, the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons or TPNW, adopted in 2017, imposes a comprehensive set of prohibitions on any nuclear weapon activities. Here too, India has not signed the treaty. As the call for greater international oversight continues, attention now turns to how global nuclear governance structures like the IAEA and these treaties will respond. In a significant constitutional development, President Draupadi Murmu has flagged the issue of Supreme Court overreach and has invoked Article 143 to send a presidential reference to the Supreme Court. The objective is to clarify whether the court can set timelines for the president and governors to grant assent to bills, especially amid the ongoing debate over the scope of Article 142 powers. This follows the Supreme Court's recent judgment in the state of Tamil Nadu versus Governor of Tamil Nadu case. In that ruling, the court had set specific time limits for governors under Article 200 to act on bills sent by state legislative assemblies. Additionally, it also set timelines for the President under Article 201 for bills that are reserved by the Governor for presidential assent. Continuing from that, the President, through a 14-point reference, has sought clarifications regarding multiple provisions. This includes the 3-month timeline for presidential assent under Article 201 and whether governors are bound to act on the advice of the Council of Ministers under Article 200. Now, turning to the different articles invoked in presidential reference. Article 143 allows the President to seek the Supreme Court's opinion in matters of legal and public importance. Article 200 outlines the governor's powers concerning bills passed by the state legislature. Article 201 details the President's authority on bills reserved by the governor. Article 361 offers protection to the President and governors, stating that they are not answerable to any court for the exercise of powers and duties of their office. Article 142 empowers the Supreme Court to pass any order necessary to secure complete justice. Article 145, Clause 3 mandates that a minimum of 5 judges is required to decide any case involving a substantial question of law regarding constitutional interpretation or to hear any reference under Article 143. And Article 131 deals with the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. With this, the constitutional spotlight now turns to the Supreme Court for clarity on the balance of powers between the judiciary and the executive. India is planning to study the sustainability of human life in space under its Bio-E3 policy. This was recently announced by the Union Minister of State for Science and Technology, who stated that India is set to conduct its first ever biological experiments aboard the International Space Station or ISS. Let's dive into the details. These experiments, which will be spearheaded by ISRO in collaboration with the Department of Biotechnology, are scheduled to be carried out as part of the upcoming ISS mission, EXIM-4. The mission will include 2 key experiments. To begin with, there will be a microalgae experiment, which will examine the impact of microgravity and space radiation on the growth of edible microalgae. This is significant because microalgae are nutrient-rich and hold great potential as a safe and sustainable source of nutrition for long-duration space missions. Following that, the second experiment will focus on cyanobacteria. This will involve studying the growth and proteomic responses of cyanobacteria, such as spirulina and Syncyticoccus, under microgravity conditions, using both urea and nitrate-based media. The experiment also aims to explore spirulina as a superfood, foods that have a very high nutritional density owing to its high protein and vitamin content, and to compare the growth of cyanobacterial cells in urea versus nitrate environments. Now, moving to the policy framework behind these experiments. The Bio-E3 policy, or Biotechnology for Economy, Environment and Employment, seeks to establish a robust framework for the adoption of cutting-edge advanced technologies. It also aims to align innovative research that can revolutionize biomanufacturing processes. This initiative is being implemented by the Department of Biotechnology under the Union Ministry of Science and Technology, marking another significant step in India's growing contribution to space research and biotechnology. The strategic implications of India's space biotech initiatives aim to position the country as a global leader in space life sciences. First, under the Space Biotech's leadership pillar, India aspires to emerge as a hub for advanced research and development in biotechnology, particularly through initiatives in microgravity research, sustainable technologies, and space medicine. This approach underscores the country's commitment to establishing itself as a frontrunner in space biotechnology. Secondly, India's biotech aspirations reflect its broader goal of building a robust biotech leadership. These aspirations include fostering a knowledge-based economy, driving an innovation pipeline, ensuring technological sovereignty, and enhancing global competitiveness in the biotech domain. Finally, India seeks to deepen its international partnerships by collaborating with key global entities such as NASA, EXIM Space, and the European Space Agency or ESA, and various industry partners. These partnerships are instrumental in leveraging global expertise and strengthening India's capabilities in space life sciences, ultimately advancing its position on the international stage. Moving on, a significant development in India's pharmaceutical regulation has just unfolded. The Drugs Technical Advisory Board, or DTAB, has approved a subcommittee report recommending the prohibition of 16 fixed dose combinations, citing serious health risks. To understand the weight of this decision, let's first note that the DTAB was set up by the Union government under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940 and serves to advise both central and state governments on drug-related matters. Now, moving on to the medicines in question. Fixed dose combinations, or FDCs, are medicines that have more than one active ingredient, chemical compounds in medicines that have an effect on the body, in a single pill, capsule, or shot. They are widely prescribed for conditions such as tuberculosis and diabetes, where patients otherwise need multiple medicines daily. By combining ingredients, FDCs reduce the number of pills the patient needs to take each day and help improve adherence to the treatment. The critical issue arises when we ask why these FDCs are being banned. A key reason is the lack of proper clinical trials. Many of the affected combinations were initially approved simply because their individual ingredients had already cleared regulatory hurdles. According to the new Drugs and Clinical Trial Rules of 2019 rules, FDCs must be treated as new drugs and approved by the central drug regulator. In addition, there is the problem of irrational intake. Certain combinations include drugs that all patients do not necessarily need. Overuse brings another danger: antibiotic resistance. Excessive use of antibiotic FDCs can render infections harder to treat. And despite earlier bans, a 2023 study revealed that antibiotic FDC sales in India actually rose from 32.9% in 2008 to 37.3% in 2020. Finally, price control evasion plays a role. Drug companies often use FDCs to avoid government price controls on essential medicines by marketing them as new combinations. With these factors laid out, the DTAB's recommendation aims to safeguard public health and ensure that any combination drug on the market meets rigorous standards. Moving on, India's ambitious Samudrayaan mission is all set to be launched by the end of 2026, as announced by the National Institute of Ocean Technology. As a crucial component of the broader Deep Ocean mission, the Samudrayaan initiative aims to explore the ocean at depths of up to 6,000 meters using the indigenous manned submersible vehicle named Matsya. This pioneering mission is expected to open up multiple new opportunities for India's deep sea research, ranging from the assessment of both living and non-living resources in the ocean, to the facilitation of comprehensive ocean observation, and even the possibility of deep sea tourism. It is important to note that only a handful of countries, the United States, Russia, China, France, and Japan, have so far conducted successful deep ocean crewed missions. Turning to the key vehicle in the mission, Matsya 6000 represents India's fourth-generation self-propelled deep ocean human scientific submersible vehicle. This advanced system is currently under development by the National Institute of Ocean Technology, or NIOT, Chennai, and has already successfully completed wet testing. Moreover, the vehicle is designed to have an operational endurance of 12 hours under normal operation, which can extend up to 96 hours in case of emergencies. The overarching Deep Ocean Mission, or DOM, is being implemented by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. It was launched in 2021 and is scheduled to be completed within 5 years. The purpose of DOM is to explore the deep ocean for potential resources and to develop technologies necessary for the sustainable use of oceanic wealth, thereby strongly contributing to India's blue economy efforts. The blue economy, which refers to the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth and improved livelihoods, currently constitutes about 4% of India's GDP. The major components of DOM include the development of technologies for deep-sea mining and manned submersibles, the creation of ocean climate change advisory services, and technological innovations for the exploration and conservation of deep-sea biodiversity. In addition, it encompasses deep ocean survey and exploration, harnessing energy and fresh water from the ocean, and the establishment of an advanced marine station for ocean biology. In a poignant reminder of climate crisis, Nepal's Yala glacier has been officially declared dead, following decades of retreat. Glaciologists and local communities mourn the loss of Nepal's Yala glacier after it has shrunk by 66% since the 1970s, making it among Nepal's first likely to be declared dead. To mark this irreversible loss, a glacier funeral was held, a symbolic ceremony to mark rapid disappearance of glaciers due to climate change. Such funerals have previously taken place for the Paisel Glacier in Switzerland, Clark Glacier in United States, and Ioloko Glacier in Mexico, with the world's first ever glacier funeral held in Iceland for the Okiokul Glacier in 2019. The loss of glaciers carries far-reaching consequences. First, it accelerates global warming. Reduced glaciers will have less albedo effect and therefore will increase heat absorption. Second, sea levels rise. A study in Nature reports that melting glaciers have already contributed nearly 2 centimeters to global sea level rise since 2001. Glacial retreat also disrupts water cycles, as nearly 3/4 of the Earth's fresh water is stored in glaciers. Their loss threatens water security and endangers biodiversity. Furthermore, the danger of natural disasters looms larger, with increased risk of glacier lake outburst floods or GLOFs and avalanches. In response, global and national initiatives have been launched. On the international front, the United Nations has declared 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation and designated March 21 as World Day for Glaciers. Programs like UNESCO's Intergovernmental Hydrological Program, IUCN's Himalayan Adaptation Network, and the Living Himalayas initiative by Worldwide Fund for Nature are actively addressing glacier loss. India, too, is stepping up. Programs like the National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem and the Network Program on the Himalayan Cryosphere focus on the glacier conservation. Indian National Center for Ocean Information Services or INCOIS monitors glacier-related hazards and issue alerts, while the Himanch Research Station studies the dynamics and the rate of change of Himalayan glaciers. India has actively pursued scientific missions in both the Arctic and Antarctic regions. For example, IND-ARC 2014. As the world watches Yala Glacier disappear, this funeral is not just a memorial, it is a wake-up call. A call to intensify climate action before more glaciers follow in Yala's footsteps. In today's Personality in News, we turn our attention to a prominent revolutionary in India's freedom struggle, Shahid Sukhdev Thapar, who was remembered on his birth anniversary on May 15th. Born in Ludhiana, Punjab, Sukhdev Thapar was a key member of the Hindustan Socialist Republican Association or HSRA. Let's look at his key contributions. Sukhdev played a crucial role in organizing revolutionary cells across Punjab and North India and founded the Naujawan Bharat Sabha in 1926 Lahore to mobilize youth for the independence struggle. He was at forefront of several revolutionary activities. He actively participated in the 1929 hunger strike in jail to protest against inhuman treatment meted out to the inmates. And he was deeply involved in the Lahore conspiracy case 1928, where Sukhdev and his accomplices Shivram Rajguru and Bhagat Singh plotted to assassinate James A. Scott, who was responsible for the death of Lala Lajpat Rai, but mistakenly shot J.P. Saunders, the Deputy Superintendent of Police. He was hanged on March 23, 1931 in Lahore jail alongside Bhagat Singh and Rajguru, a day now solemnly observed as Shahid Divas or Martyrs' Day. As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. Supreme Court directs Centre to set up special POCSO courts on priority to exclusively deal with the cases of sexual offences against children. Protection of Children from Sexual Offences or POCSO Act 2012 provides for the establishment of special courts for the purpose of ensuring speedy trial. Sikkim celebrates 50th anniversary of its statehood. Sikkim was made a full-fledged state of the Union of India under a Constitution 36th Amendment Act 1975. It became 22nd state of India. Article 371F grants certain special provisions to the state of Sikkim. A protest erupted in Goa after a report by CSIR, National Institute of Oceanography, Goa claimed that Karnataka's diversion of Mahadai River water would have less impact on Goa. Goa and Karnataka are in a dispute over the Kalsa-Bindri project aimed at diverting water from Mahadai's tributaries to the Malaprabha River to supply drinking water to drought-hit northern Karnataka. Officials of the UNESCO World Heritage Site documented various species across 36 genera during a rapid survey conducted in the Kaziranga Tiger Reserve. Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve is located in the Brahmaputra floodplain at the foothills of Karbi Anglong, spanning Golaghat, Nagaon and Sonitpur districts. NASA's GRAIL mission created the most detailed map of the moon's gravity. GRAIL mission was launched in 2011 as a part of NASA Discovery program. MAP will contribute to establishing a precise lunar reference frame and time system, enabling safer navigation for future lunar missions. India, Japan to enter design phase of Chandrayaan 5 or LUPEX, Lunar Polar Exploration Mission. The mission follows the legacy of Chandrayaan 1 and 2, orbiter-based lunar exploration, Chandrayaan 3, lander rover-based in-situ exploration, and forthcoming Chandrayaan 4, India's first lunar sample return mission. Concerns have been raised over the lack of research and promotion of the ancient monoliths in Wilong Kholen, Senapati district of Manipur. Monoliths are known as the Stonehenge of Manipur due to its resemblance to the famous British monument, believed to be constructed about 4,500 years ago. Once in a 12-year festivals, Pushkar Kumbh and Saraswati Pushkarlu are being celebrated in Uttarakhand and Telangana respectively. Pushkar Kumbh occurs every 12 years when Jupiter enters the Gemini zodiac sign and is held at Keshaprayag, confluence of Alagnanda and Saraswati rivers in Mana village, Uttarakhand. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.